crazy hardware upgrades that we tech nerds expect from smartphones year on year, well, that's going to be a thing of the past. Because with the Samsung Galaxy S25 series, multimodal AI is here, and trust me, it's going to change the way how we use smartphones. Of course, we've got the upgraded new S25, the S25 Plus, and the S25 Ultra. But what about the S25 Slim? Honestly, I don't know about it right now, but maybe at the event, there could be one more thing. Alright, let's take a quick look at these three phones. Of course, I'm going to be talking about the S25 Ultra in more detail because that's the one that we all are really excited for. If you're here for the first time, I'm Ashad. You're watching Trakin Tech English, your destination for detailed, incisive gadget reviews. First, let me tell you about the S25 Ultra, then I'll tell you a little bit about the S25 and the S25 Plus because the changes are also a little bit only. Now, with the S25 Ultra, the first thing I noticed is that it definitely feels lighter compared to my S24 Ultra. Also, the sides, if you look at it on the S25 Ultra, are flatter now and the corners are rounded, so it doesn't dig into your palms as much as the S24 Ultra did. It's definitely an improvement over the S24 Ultra's design, something that Ultra fans will appreciate. Now, of course, you get the standard IP68 rating. There's no IP69 rating, and you get wireless charging support as well. But the titanium frame, which was first introduced with the S24 Ultra, has been reinforced to be tougher now, which is what Samsung claims, and you also get Corning Gorilla Glass Armor 2 protection now. Of course, what made the S24 Ultra a fantastic phone is that anti-reflective, anti-glare coating on the display that's there on the S25 Ultra as well, but not on the S25 and the S25 Plus. There is a slight change to the display as well. It's slightly bigger now. It's 6.9 inches as opposed to 6.8 inches. At first look, it might look like the S25 Ultra has slimmer bezels than the S24 Ultra, but that's not really the case. The black part, which is the bezel, is actually the same size on both the phones. The rest of the display specs are the same as the S24 Ultra, including the peak brightness, which is the same 2600 nits. But what Samsung's introduced this time around with the S25 Ultra is a Pro Scaler engine. Now, this is of course in partnership with Qualcomm's Snapdragon processor, which I'll come to in a bit. And with this, what essentially happens and what Samsung told us is that when you use, say, Instagram or YouTube Shorts, and when you're scrolling through them, then it uses some sort of upscaling to make the images look sharper. Unfortunately, in a limited time, we couldn't test that out, but of course, a detailed video is coming soon, so we'll definitely test that out and let you know what we think about it. Now, before I talk about the performance itself, I just remembered one thing is that the S Pen has been nerfed. Yes. Take a look at this. The S24 Ultra's air actions are not visible on the S25 Ultra now, which means that the Bluetooth connectivity has been removed from the S25 Ultra's S Pen, which to me is a huge disappointment. Alright, now moving on to the nicer things is that the S25 Ultra has the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, and now we asked Samsung as to how much more powerful it is compared to the 8 Elite inside the OnePlus 13 or the iQOO 13, but unfortunately they didn't have an answer for that, so we'll have to test it out to figure out what the differences are. Also, we had limited time, so we couldn't run benchmarks on it. Also, embargo, so we can't talk about benchmarks, but we did play Call of Duty Mobile on it, and it runs very smooth actually. And there are these game tools that you can use to enhance the performance. For example, you can improve the touchscreen response, and it just functions very smoothly, honestly. Talking about which, gamers are going to be super excited about the fact that the S25 Ultra's vapor cooling chamber is 40% larger than the S24 Ultra now. Now, battery is of course the same 5000 mAh unit, but there was this interesting thing that Samsung mentioned, that they're actually reusing the cobalt elements from discarded Samsung phones, so that they're building on sustainability, which is a nice thing. Now, of course, with respect to the camera, there are not too many changes except for the fact that the ultra wide angle camera has been upgraded to 50 megapixels now from 12 megapixels. This is something that was running across in the rumor mill anyway. That 50 megapixel camera is expected to take better looking pictures, of course, in low light as well, but we had very little time, and also we can't share any camera samples, so I will refrain from judging the pictures right now. Definitely sooner. Now, using this ultra wide angle camera, Samsung says that macro shots are even better. So when you go closer to a subject, whenever that focus enhancer mode is triggered, so it will switch to the ultra wide angle camera, and you can take macro shots with it. Rest of the camera specs are the same, but there are some under the hood improvements to the features that are available with the S25 Ultra. Low light video is expected to be much better on the S25 Ultra. In fact, by default, it now shoots 10-bit HDR videos, which is nice. Of course, you can shoot 8K, 4K 60 FPS, all of that. And you can also shoot log in the Pro video mode. By the way, in Expert RAW, there is this virtual aperture feature that lets you change the aperture in RAW images, but it's virtual, it's software based, so I'm not really like a fan of it. And that audio eraser feature that was introduced with Pixel phones, that's here with the S25 Ultra as well. We did a quick demo, just take a listen to it and let me know what you guys think. So right now we're going to be trying out the audio eraser feature inside a confined room, and there are a lot of people talking right now, so I'll see if it can sort of single out my voice. Alright, so these were all the hardware changes with the S25 Ultra, but the biggest advancements are with multimodal AI that Samsung is bringing to the table with the S25 series. And for this, Samsung is working very closely with Google, and now pressing the home button brings up Gemini by default. You get support for Gemini Advanced as well, so I don't know what happens to Bixby now. The integration is pretty deep, so much so that you can actually switch off or switch on your Bluetooth, switch off or switch on your Wi-Fi. All of that is also possible now. And of course, multimodal AI is where it's at. What that means is that it will use different kinds of inputs, like for example, voice, search, and even sensors to give you information. For example, I did this. Take a look at this. Can you find a good pet-friendly pub around me and send a message to Arnav about it?
Got a message to Arnav Trakin saying, "Hey Arnav, I found some great pet-friendly pubs near you."
So here the phone used Google search, it used the sensors to find out the map, and then it used the phone itself to send the message across. In fact, the AI integration is also deeper within apps now. So basically there's support for Galaxy apps, Google apps, and a couple of third-party apps, which includes, I think, Spotify and WhatsApp. Now what that means is that I can make this query. Can you add the Indian cricket team's 2025 schedule to my calendar?
Sure. You want to create these 8 events?
And the Galaxy S25 Ultra will seamlessly put the Indian cricket team schedule into the calendar, and you will never forget about it. Another interesting addition is that with the Edge panel, you now get AI Select. Basically, what it does is that, say for example, you have a video and then you have that video playing and you run the AI Select around it. It will give you an option to, like a contextually relevant option to let you create a GIF out of it. I found it pretty handy because sometimes what happens is that you don't know what to do with AI, and that is the biggest problem, right? So with AI Select, it might give you certain suggestions that you might not have thought of. By the way, there are a couple of things I noticed about One UI 7. I've already spoken about it. If you haven't watched that video, go check it out. Of course, One UI 7 is also a part of the entire equation, and you do get support for 7 generations of software updates and 7 years of security updates as well. But with the S25 Ultra's One UI 7 experience, it felt very refined. Now, compared to the beta that's running on my S24 Ultra, at least the animations felt really smooth. Now, that's all about the S25 Ultra. Now, with the S25 and the S25 Plus, there are very tiny changes. Both the phones are thinner and lighter compared to the previous generation. That was to be expected. And all the variants of all the phones have 12 GB of RAM, including the base variant on the S25. But the base variant still has 128 GB, which feels a little low to me. Also, on the S25 and the S25 Plus, the vapor cooling chamber is 15% larger compared to the S24 series. But apart from that, there are no major changes compared to the S24 and the S24 Plus. These are basically the same phones. Yeah, no changes to the camera hardware either. So when you look at the S25 series as a whole, the S25 and the S25 Plus, not very exciting if you ask me. Basic upgrades. But the S25 Ultra has some interesting things going for it, and I can't wait to use it as my primary so that I can tell you how I use AI in daily life to improve the user experience. Because genuinely, whether you like it or not, this is going to be the future of your smartphone. The personal AI smartphone. Of course, we're still not aware of the price of the phone. The moment we get details on that, we'll add a pinned comment, so go check that out for the prices. But yeah, this was just a first look. What did you guys think of it? Are you excited for these phones or not? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.